Well, it's July of 2020 and we're in our first big trip in our new travel trailer. More on that in a future video. This is an introduction to a video we made back in early May. We took a short trip out of Pittsburgh down into western Maryland to see a couple of historical sites along the old National Pike, today's US 40. So come along and enjoy the ride, and if you like the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up by clicking the icon. And we'd love to have you subscribe. It means a lot to us if you do subscribe, and you can make comments and ask questions, and we'll be sure to try to answer them as quickly as possible. So enjoy. We're driving east on US 40. The historic national road which follows the route of an army of British and American colonial soldiers under General Braddock in 1755 on its way to a disastrous defeat by French and Native American allies near Fort Duquesne in present-day Pittsburgh, PA. Here, as we leave Pennsylvania and enter Maryland, we've already passed two historic sites from that period: a monument near the site of Braddock's grave and the Fort Necessity National Battlefield where then 25-year-old George Washington had met defeat at the hands of the French and Indians a year earlier. Today we're going to focus on western Maryland's early transportation history. First stop is the Stone Arch Castleman River Bridge, built in 1813 and beautifully preserved in a small state park just outside Grantsville. The state park grounds on the Grantsville side of the bridge include a small parking lot with modern-style accessible privies, an open grassy area suitable for pets on leashes, and a spacious shaded picnic area with a trail to a spot with a good upstream view of the arched bridge from water level. The National Road was the first major improved highway in the United States built by the federal government. It was controversial because at the time Congress was divided on whether or not the Constitution empowered the federal government to fund improvements to inland transportation. Originally intended to connect the Potomac River Valley at Cumberland, Maryland with the Ohio River at Wheeling, West Virginia, then in Virginia, construction began in 1811 and reached Wheeling in 1818. In 1820, Congress authorized the road's extension to St. Louis on the Mississippi River, but the rise to power of the Jacksonian Democrats, whose namesake Andrew Jackson was president from 1829 through 1837, and an ardent opponent of the federal government's involvement in any kind of economic development, led to the project dying short of its goal in Vandalia, Illinois, which was then the state capital. In 1835, Congress transferred the eastern portions of the road running through Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia to those states, under whose control the road was improved with a surface of compacted stone known as the macadam process, pioneered by Scotsman John Loudon Macadam. The macadam process is still used to this day in well-constructed roads topped with asphalt. Nice recently done interpretive signage here. Two members of the Maryland House of Delegates that helped to save the bridge from destruction in the 1950s and the 1970s. Amazing. You see what the bridge looked like here. Wow. There's a map of the route. You can see built with private funds from Baltimore to Cumberland as a toll road, all the way across Ohio, Indiana to Vandalia, Illinois, where it ended and was never completed all the way to the Mississippi River as was originally planned. At the east end of the bridge is the Spruce Forest Artisan Village, a cluster of historic log buildings that were moved here and restored beginning in the 1980s to house a group of artisans who manufacture items for sale using traditional techniques. And it's an interactive process with visitors as well. Many school groups come here to learn. The village includes a well-reviewed restaurant in a historical building original to the site, as well as a restored and operating mill, also in its original early 19th century location. When we visited in May 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 shutdowns, there was very little activity. The restaurant was of course closed, and many of the artisans' buildings had suffered roof damage from a recent severe storm. However, the Potter was open and we were able to step inside for a bit of window shopping. The first toll house on the Old National Road here in LaVale, Maryland. Right next to US Highway 40, right on the original roadway. Even back then, you paid by the axle. And just like at the Castleman Bridge State Park, there's a nice little break area here. Although with proximity to urbanized areas like small towns like Frostburg above us, behind us to the west, and down Cumberland Way, as well as the heavy fast food traffic through here, through LaVale, you see the problems they're having keeping up with litter. On the way home, we pulled into a roadside picnic stop, something not seen in the eastern U.S. as often as in the past. This spot is on the summit of one of several north-south ridges crossed by US 40 and has an historical marker interpretive sign explaining why this particular ridge is called Negro Mountain. That is, it was called that until 2019, when the state government removed the signs for reasons I won't go into. On or near this place in the 1750s, according to local tradition dating back to that time, a free African American, the manservant of prominent local settler Thomas Cresap, was killed in a skirmish with a party of French and Indians retiring toward the Ohio Valley after a terror raid on the Cumberland settlements. The incident was memorialized by calling this ridge Negro Mountain. As of 2020, according to web articles on the subject, a group of, quote, stakeholders, unquote, has been formed to decide how to commemorate this little piece of history in a less offensive way. And with that, I will end this episode of History's a Blast, wishing good luck to the stakeholders in finding a solution to this non-problem. Thanks for watching. Please click the thumbs up icon to like the video and share with your friends via email or social media. I'd love to have you subscribe, and if you do, please click the little bell icon so you'll get notifications whenever I post a new video. Goodbye.